Hello, you are watching the behind the scenes commentary for On Fast. My name is Conor O'Reilly, the director behind On Fast, joined by the voices of my teammates Emmanuel Kande, Joshua Kenny, Kate Kolesnik, and Simona Dumowski. We hope you enjoy. So, which part of the sting are you personally most happy with?
Most happy with, I'd say, is the approach shot. That's when I work on the most, I guess. Also the takeoff. I should know the takeoff, I'd say. With the eyes and then the impact frame and then the dust collar effect and the feature falling back. I think I did a lot of work for that shot as well. So I'd say probably, with the takeoff.
As a whole, I'd pretty happy with all of it, but I'd be pretty happy with particularly the camera movements and the running path, the intro to the running path, just because it was a challenge for me. It was going to be really good for my portfolio and it put me out of my comfort zone.
My favorite shot is one where the characters are running and the perspective, special effects, composition and sense of movement look fantastic.
I think that personally what works out the best, in my opinion, is the post-editing where everything is being brought together, because there was when working in a team, the biggest challenge I think is making the piece look united. So I think that's the post-editing that does that.
Where do you think your skills have most improved?
I wanted to improve my final line skills into the animation and gain more animation experience. I managed to achieve that, especially by developing my character animation skills.
I think, in terms of working with animation, if that makes sense. Usually I draw effects standalone. So in terms of making it relate to what's actually happening on screen.
When I first started, I didn't really have it clear what the end result must be. I got lost in details and I was over-rendering them, and because of that the shapes were becoming too complex and it's something that could not be really replicated over and over. And with some help from Conor, I ended up with a background which was made out of some single shapes which could be separated and then arranged in a different composition, and like that. I knew that it was very easy to recreate the same environment over and over again and to maintain the style. So I think that what I've learned most is step by step, so I can get the work done reliably.
Something I've never really done is color layouts and more backgroundy type stuff, which I was happy to do this year and use a software like Krita. I've experimented with a new software, experimented with a new style to fully draw, color and animate something with a pan. It was a good experience.
Did you find yourself learning any new skills or software you might not have expected?
And I learned TV Paint actually, so that's on TV Paint.
I learned a new skill, animating objects like a flag waving in the wind. It was strange and interesting for me, and I'm glad I managed to handle this task. I'm also interested in the compositing process in animation. I watched YouTube tutorials on this topic, but seeing the process live from start to finish gave me a much better step-by-step understanding.
Oh, and this whole thing was a massive learning for me. It's that I picked up Krita. It's all software I've previously learned, but it was Photoshop I've never really truly enjoyed. It never felt. I've a background in graphic design. I've experienced what Photoshop is like for photo editing and other type of stuff, but not for painting. So I never really enjoyed it, and I felt Krita. You said Krita to me, and because it's free, way better.
I would say skills. I was quite scared of background art before, and I think that there was this kind of wheel that kept being pushed by help, because Conor helped me and then I helped King and King helped Paul, and it was beautiful. And I would say it's I kind of learned that it's not so scary as I thought.
What would you have done differently if given another chance to produce this thing?
I think definitely have some hierarchy in the way that I work, from general to specific. It's a personal challenge for me to not get into the nitty-gritty right away, and then I would be stuck because I can't replicate it again. So I think that I would work, for instance, if I have to work on the backgrounds, maybe I would first work on the steps, decide exactly what the style is and what colors I'm going to use and what elements, and then try to apply this on all the backgrounds.
If I had a second chance, with this experience and lessons I learned, I would focus less on details and more on timing and logical structure of the animation.
I don't know if I would do anything differently. I think the only thing I would do different, this is kind of a part of the progress, or part of the process, because we didn't have pre-production and we didn't have the whole style talk, so you would pick the stuff from the get-go. That's the only thing, is there was a bit of style clashes and we changed a few things, but it's all a part of the process.
You know, that's actually, I have had this thing the day we submitted. And it was like, I just did Impact Fair. It was like, I did those splashes of color and stuff, and I was like, it looks so good.
Yeah.
I went to bed and I was like, fuck, dude. I should have added that. And I was like, it's too late now. Aside from that, I'm quite happy with what we've done. I don't think there's anything I actually go back and change now.
Any other comments or things you'd like to mention?
I'm actually really happy with the fact that we're doing group projects, because I think that practicing character design without having a project to practice on is kind of hitting the point. So I feel like we're keeping each other accountable, and we had something to put our minds on, some problems to solve. So I think this is the most useful practice, and it was this teamwork that I think is so helpful.
I'm grateful to our team for the friendly teamwork, great atmosphere, and productive work.
I'd say overall, I'm pretty happy with like the actual production of this thing. I think like overall, yeah, like whatever said, it's super consistent. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with the effects that I put inside. I don't know, maybe if we were to do like a production again, we would have come a bit more organized.
I'm so happy to work on this. A big thing for me was like I got picked by Dingo, and I was quite disappointed when my classmates didn't pick me. But in hindsight, I'm actually glad I didn't get picked, because I wouldn't have had this experience. I wouldn't have had the chance to make something as great as this that I'm really proud of. It's a really good story. I wouldn't have been able to work with you, Manny and Kate, and a little bit with Simona. Like people I've learned a lot from. Like every single one of those people I've learned a lot from. And then as well, I learned a lot about myself as an artist. Like I was very insecure about like, oh, this won't be good enough for my portfolio, where you really would put in my head of like, no, the simple the better. Like, that's what studios want. And that to me really set a mindset of like, yeah.
Well, we tried our best. Everyone was so productive.
Really, and I'm so happy I was on this team. So
Yeah, it's
big
exciting.
thanks to you.